I want you to tell me if those two triangles are similar or not. And then I want you to tell me how you know. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, they are. I think it was
Yes, they are
Brittany.
similar.
Yes. Can you tell me why?
I don't know why.
I don't know.
I
Okay.
didn't solve the problem though.
Okay, yeah. And that is a giveaway here, but I still want you to practice. So let me help you here. I'm letting Josh in. So the way we're going to decide if something is similar or not, we're going to find the corresponding sides. Goodness, they put the shapes in the same direction. So the corresponding sides are pretty easy to look at. So if we're going to go, you can start from the small to the big, but if you do, you start from the small to the big and small to the big, and then you do everything. If you want to start with the big to the small, that's fine too. So what we're going to do is go from A to B, and we're going to say, here's the corresponding side for A and B. So we're going to say 8 over 4. Now simplify that. That will be simplified to 2 over 1. So the relationship between these corresponding sides is 2 over 1. But the ratio has to be the same on all three sides. So let's try this little short side. We have to go big to little because that's how we started. So big to little again is 4 over 2. And when we simplify that, it will simplify to 2 over 1. So we're at a good start here. We have to make sure it's true on all three sides. So big to little is 6 to 3, which will simplify to 2 over 1. When all of them are in the same ratio to each other, then they are definitely similar to each other. So yes, these are similar. Now, this is the reason that I wanted you to practice finding out if these were similar. But if you notice on that page in your worksheet, it has the sign, this sign. And if it has this sign, that's telling you that these are similar. But I wanted you to practice again how you know that they're similar. Okay. Now, the cool thing, the reason I had you do this was for review, but also this tells you the scale factor. Scale factor from, now this is important, the order that they put this in. Scale factor from A to B. That means you're going from here to here, which is what we did when we started this out. Here to here was 8 to 4, which was 2 to 1. So the scale factor from A to B is 2 to 1. Pretty easy, huh? Because we have already found ratios between the corresponding sides, and we turn those ratios to the corresponding sides into the scale factor. Yeah? Easy enough? Are y'all awake?
Yes.
Are you understanding?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
what is the scale factor from triangle B to triangle A?
Is it gonna be the same or is it one?
I can't hear you very well. Say it.
Is
It'll
it
be
gonna
the same.
or is it 1 to 2?
It's 1 to 2, Brittany. Yes, yes.
Okay, so you just flip it then.
I think that was Brittany. You guys said something else.
No, yeah, that was it.
Okay. Okay, from B to A, we have to start with this, the small, which is B, to A. We have the order that these are put in is important. Y'all see?
Yes.
Let's try something else. On that same page, let's do number 5. Okay, and Josh,
Yes, ma'am.
on the packet that says similarity, similarity something. And this is the 3rd page in that packet.
Okay.
Okay, and the one we just did was number 1, right here. Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna go down here and do number 5 right here. And notice that they're not laying the same way, so we've got to make sure and have them laying the same way, so we have the right corresponding sides. So for right now, let's see if I can do this. Okay, this is 11 feet, 8 feet, 13 feet. And this is P, triangle P. And then they do this. This is 39 feet. And this is 24 feet. And this one's 33 feet. Now, the hardest part about these triangles or the figures that we're going to deal with in a little bit, the hardest part is finding the corresponding sides. Okay? This one isn't too bad. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is that they do have the similar symbol here. And so we know that the sides are proportional. We know they are similar. We don't have to prove that. They want to know what the scale factor is. And I think the first one, P to Q and then Q to P. So we want the scale factor P to Q, and then we want Q to P. Okay, so the way we find that is to find out the ratio between corresponding sides. Now, since these aren't laying the same way, they're not in the same direction, you'll have to figure out yourself how to turn these around in your mind. Last Thursday, we talked about on your paper, you could maybe trace this on a piece of paper and turn it until it is facing the same way as this. Sometimes you will rotate it. Sometimes you may have to just flip it over, but get it to where the shapes are facing the same way. Then you can definitely see corresponding sides. This one is pretty easy because you can see if we take this and rotate it just 1/4 of the way, then this will become the bottom. Do you see? Is everybody okay with that? So I am going to redraw it for those of you that are still having a hard time finding it. Thank you, Mary, for answering. So this, and then we have this long side and this way. So I have just taken this figure and turned it. So now this is 8, this is 13, and this is 11. Y'all see? Which makes it much easier to find the corresponding sides here. So we have corresponding sides and they want to go P to Q. So we have to start with P and go to Q. So let's do this corresponding side, 8 over 24. This corresponding side to this one, 11 to 33. And then this one, we have to go P to Q, 13 over 39. And if you'll notice, each one of these will simplify to 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. If they don't, then this is a lie, okay? So we know that all three of them are going to come to the same ratio. Now the ratio or the scale factor from P to Q, P, the small one, to Q, the larger one, is going to be 1 to 3. So what is the scale factor backwards from Q to P?
3 to 1.
3 to 1. Good, Josh.
And their neighbor was a huge help during all of this. With this project,
Y'all get the idea?
Oh, yeah.
Ma'am.
I think that really the biggest challenge was the challenge that you had last week when we were trying to set up ratios between the two, is to get these rotated or flipped to where they're facing the same way. Finding the corresponding sides when they're not faced in the same direction is probably the biggest challenge. Scale factor isn't bad at all. So what I want to do, I'm going to look at your worksheets. I think we're going to move on because I think you guys can handle that already. Scale factor. Let's see here. Aha. Okay, let's go to the next page of that same packet. It's the last page, and if you numbered your pages, it's page 4 in packet 3. Page 4 in packet 3, and it looks like this. Similar triangles finding sides. Okay. You're going to use the same idea here. And up at the top, it says sheet 1. I don't know how you guys find your stuff, but I number mine. So it is not that one. There's the number. Packet 3, page 4. All right. Now on this one, we're going to use the same idea because we know the scale factor tells us the relationship from one similar figure to another one. Okay? So let's tackle this. It's going to be the same idea, but you're going to be finding different information. Okay, they have, this is number 1 on that page, and they have B, C, A. This is triangle BCA. And it says it is similar to that beautiful, hi Rachel. I thought Rachel was there.
Oh, I'm here.
There you are, I thought you were. Okay. All right. This is all the information they give you. They have named the triangle ABC and PQR. Okay? They've named these. See the corresponding sides very easily. Now it says the scale factor. I'm going to go ahead and write this for those of you that don't have a worksheet. Can't even copy. Of triangle ABC to triangle PQR is 1 to 2. Okay, it already tells you it's 1 to 2. So it says find the sides. So what you do is set up a proportion. That's why I taught you proportions before scale factor. It says we're going to go from here to here. Okay? So I want the scale factor from AB to, I started AB, so it has to be PQ, to PQ. Now, the way you're going to find this, we don't know AB, but we know PQ, right? And
Yes.
our scale factor is 1. So this helps us start the proportion right here. 1 to 2 is the same as 1 to 2. They're telling us the scale factor is 1 to 2. That's the thing that we know in the proportion. And we say, how does that apply to x over 6? Do you see why we did proportions? Okay. So in order to solve this proportion, you can multiply here and multiply here. So I have 2x equals 6. When I divide by 2 and divide by 2, I have x equals 3. So now I know x was AB,
Mhm.
so it equals 3 inches.
Wouldn't
Now,
that mean that eight?
questions on this?
I was gonna say, it's halving them.
Pardon?
I was saying that it's halving the 6 makes it a 3.
You are
So-
absolutely correct.
So on the other side of 8, it will half that to 4.
Yes, you will. If you set up this proportion again, she's
Yes.
already seeing that this is 1 to 2. We're multiplying by 2. 1 to 2. And so she's already saying that this is 4 inches.
And that's 2.
Right, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay, now, the reason that I went through this is because sometimes they won't have times 2, times 5. You know, you can see that, and that's perfectly fine. If you can see the relationship between two similar figures, I have no problem with that. But let's try another one. Okay, let's try this one. Let's go down to number 6 on that same page.
Okay.
Number 6 on the same page. Okay, they're telling you that we have two similar triangles. Now, they don't draw it, and that's okay. Let's say they have a triangle. I'm just going to do this just because I don't know how they're shaped. And then here's this great big one. Okay, and they said this one is VWX.
The ratio is 7.
So VWX, and notice the order that they did the letters in, VWX to CDA. So the C has to be in the same position that the V is. So C, D, E. Okay, so what you're doing is reading a word problem and you're drawing what you think it might look like. Okay, the shape of this triangle could be something totally different, but they said they are similar. They're similar triangles so that we know that their sides are proportional. How are they proportional? They tell us that the scale factor for this one to this one, uh-oh, I have them backwards, is 7 to 4. So they said the triangle VWX is the bigger one, 7 to CDE. So let me change the letters. So I have the big one is VWX and the little one is CDE. Do you guys see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Have I lost you?
No.
Okay. I hear some real big quiet. So V, W, X, C, D, E. When they said the scale factor from triangle W or VWX to CDE, I have to use the first triangle that was mentioned goes with the first number that was mentioned. They have to go in order. Similar works that way. So now, after I have the scale factor written down, then it said if CD, let's find CD, if it's 8 yards and EC is 16 yards and DE is 12 yards. Find all the sides of this triangle. So do you see what our problem is here?
Mm-hmm.
I hope. I'm not hearing anything. So what we do is we're going from this one to this one. So we're going here to here, and the ratio is 7 to 4. Now remember, 7 to 4 was the reduced fraction, but we can use this to start our proportion. They gave this as a true statement. So we start 7 to 4, and now we're going to find out our unknowns. Okay, so since we are talking about triangle VWX first, then we are talking about the sides here first. Okay, so let's find this one first, right here. So I want to know what side WX is. What is its corresponding side in the smaller one?
12.
12. So now you can just call this X if you want to instead of WX. Just remember which one we're doing. You can actually make this side A, B, C if you want to keep track. Let's just do that. So I'm finding side A. So since this is a proportion, 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction, I can cross multiply and I have 4A is equal to 84. When I divide by 4 and divide by 4, I get that A equals 21. So this side, WX, is going to equal 21 yards. This, the reason that I chose this one, first of all, it was a word problem. And the second reason I chose it is because it's not as easy to see that this is doubled or this is tripled or something. You have to use a proportion. And so it's important for me to show you how to use the proportion on the really easy ones so that you know how to do it on the ones that become more difficult. Let's find side B. We're going to use exactly the same scale factor because we're dealing with the same triangles. We're going to start our proportion with the scale factor. We're going big to little. I want to find side B. So it's on the big triangle. And the little triangle corresponding side is what?
16.
8. Because
Oh,
here's
the 8. Yes.
and the corresponding side is 8. So I have 4B equals 56. Yes? Divide by 4
Yes.
and B equals 14. Side B. Awfully quiet Monday morning. Are you guys okay with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and then the third side, again, we use the scale factor to start our proportion. So we want to find side B, and it corresponds to that is 16. Start with the big one. This is the big triangle, so C has to go on top, and its corresponding side goes on the bottom. We have 7 times 16 equals 4C. Divide by 4. And we get probably 28. Equals 28. See how the scale factor works for us?
Yeah.
Starts our proportion. As long as they tell us that these sides are similar or these figures are similar, then we know that they relate to each other in the same ratio. That side to that side, that side to that side, that side to that side are all in relationship 7 to 4. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the next packet, but we're only going to deal with, I think it's just 2 pages in the next packet because they are a continuation and relate to exactly what we're doing. Your next packet is packet 4, and it says scale factors, perimeters. Scale factor perimeters. It's another packet. It's packet 4.
I got it.
Okay. Now, actually, this is exactly the same as what we've been doing, but it's dealing with the full distance all the way around. They'll tell you one of the distances all the way around. They'll tell you the scale factor. Then they want you to find the other distance all the way around. Now, let's remind you that perimeter of a figure is just the distance around. It's around, and I'll go ahead and say around the outside. Simply means if your figure is really weird, let's say there, all you have to do to find the perimeter is find out how long this is and add it to this 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 and add it to that. Okay? You just have to add the sides together to get the perimeter. So what's going on in this packet isn't much different as long as you remember what the perimeter is. Let's look at number one's, let's go ahead and do it. Number 1 is a triangle. It says it's triangle A, and here's a larger one. This is triangle B. But all they give you now is the perimeter. So they added the sides together for you, and they said the perimeter in this one is 36 feet. And they want you to find out what the perimeter is here. Now, we can't until we know what the scale factor is and we know which direction they're going to go. Are they going to go from A to B or B to A? The instructions say the scale factor from A to B. So they're going to go small to large. And they said the scale factor is 2.6 to 9. Now, Rachel, here is the reason that I wanted to make sure that you know the steps. Because there's no way you can just, well, maybe somebody can, I can't, to just figure out 2.6 to 9. Yuck. Okay?
Yeah, I still have a little problems with the ratio with the dots in the center. And that kind of throws me off a little bit.
Well, the dots in the center, this is actually the very same as 2.6 over 9.
Okay.
It's exactly the same, but they write scale factor with the colon. The colon
Okay.
means the word 2. Okay? But it's exactly the same as this. That help you, Rachel?
Okay.
All right. So,
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Okay, they want you to find this one. So we're just going to call it X, okay?
Fine, please.
So what we found out is if they give us a scale factor, we begin our proportion with the scale factor. So we're going to say 2.6 over 9. Now they say we're going from A to B. We're going from the little triangle to the big triangle. So when you follow this and set up your other fraction, you have to start with the A triangle and then go to the B. Okay? You always have to stay in the same order. So the perimeter that we're trying to find is in A. So it goes up here where the A goes. And then the B perimeter goes down here. This is the ratio that the corresponding sides and the perimeter, this is the ratio that these similar triangles are in. So you can set up a proportion to find out what the perimeter is. So now we have 9x, I'm still on the board, okay. 9x equals, now I'm going to take 2.6 times 36.
93.6.
Good, 93.6. And when I divide by 9, the perimeter of the smaller one will be
10.4.
10.4 feet. And see, Rachel, that wouldn't have been something that you could just do in your head. The
No.
ones that you
I
can
was-
do in your head are fine. Okay?
Yeah, I was thinking about the P equals 36 foot. I was thinking, like the other one, you half it. And then I was saying, well, since these are, basically the same, I was gonna say maybe it was like a
Oh, and
12 or
what you did in that other one was perfectly fine. That was good when you can see it, like 2 to 1 or 5 to 1. But when
Yeah.
it's 2.6 to 9, you have to use the steps to find the answer. So you'll need to know how
Yeah.
to do it. Let's do one more of these unless you have a question on this. Anybody? Brittany, Josh, Sherry?
No, I'm good.
Oh,
Everybody good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm good.
Let's do one more on, I think it's that page. Let me see if there's something different on the next page. Oh, here it is. Aha. Okay, all of those on that page are pretty much the same. Yes. So the next page, and that's all I want y'all to worry about this time until tomorrow. Let's look at the next page. It has the same title, but it's L2S1. You see right here, L2S1. And it'll be page 2 in your packet 4. And it begins like this one.
Okay.
This is, yeah, hexagon. No, pentagon. 5 sides, pentagon. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to work this one because, again, you know everything, but they ask it differently in this one, and that's why I'm going to do number 1. Okay. It tells you in the instructions, now when you get to your GED test, remember to read the instructions because some of the important information is in the instructions. In this case, notice on number 1, it does not have that similar figure, you know, that little curly Q thing. It doesn't have it here, but the instructions say each pair of figures is similar. So they're telling you for a fact, these are fine, they're similar to each other. But sometimes they won't have the symbol here. They will tell you the information, very important information in the instructions. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So here we go.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, and they call this Q and they call this R. In the instruction, it says they're similar, so we'll do that. This one says this side is 4.2 yards. This one is 6.3 yards. The perimeter here is 35 yards. And they want to know this perimeter. So we'll call it X. Okay, but notice that they did not tell you what the scale factor is. Okay, that is what's different about this page. But they gave you enough information to find the scale factor. Okay, so tell me what the scale factor is from Q to R. Looking at the figure, what is the scale factor from Q to R? Yes, 4.2 to 6.3. Those are corresponding sides and probably in lowest terms. So the scale factor from Q to R is this because they gave you corresponding sides. And they said definitely these are similar figures. So that's your scale factor from Q to R. There we go. So we know we can use this as our first ratio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 4.2 to 6.3. And we know we went Q to R. So our second fraction of the proportion, we have to set up the same way. They're asking for perimeter, so let's do that. What is the perimeter of Q? 35. What's the perimeter of R? X. This is when you need your calculator for sure. And this is a proportion again. So all you have to do
6.3
is cross
times it
multiply.
by times it by 35. It would be 220.5.
To find X, you're gonna have to divide by 4.2.
52.5.
So the perimeter of this large one, if the proportion, if the scale factor between the two is this, and if they are similar, is 52.5 yards. Do you get the idea? If they don't
Yeah.
give you scale factor, they will give you corresponding sides so you can find out the scale factor. So on the first page of this packet 4, they'll give you a scale factor. Second page, you have to figure it out by looking at the picture. What do you think about scale factor? Not too bad, is it?
Well, it's not too bad.
I think it's pretty okay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just gotta work on it a little bit.
Once you get the ratio, it's okay.
Any questions? Does everybody have this information, these worksheets?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All righty. That's all from me today. I want you to tackle these and see what you can do. Remember to text me a picture or call me if you have some trouble before we hit tomorrow's lesson. Okay?
Okay.
Right. We did pretty well today. I hope all of y'all are doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love you, right?
We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. We will definitely see you tomorrow.